So hello and welcome to my 100% achievement walkthrough for Planet of Lana. This was released on Xbox on the 23rd of May. It's currently on Gamepass and was published and developed by Wishfully. So starting off here, just the tutorial aspects, the usual move left right. We'll be introduced to jump and stealth very shortly thereafter. The game is a sort of puzzle platform, limbo-like. You simply have to survive rather than attack enemies and solve puzzles, explore story as you do it. I will cut out a few of the cutscenes, mostly the transition stuff. I'll keep the main story stuff in, but if you're particularly interested, I would recommend watching it yourself or playing through this yourself, as you probably are. The cutscenes aren't skippable, so if you're playing through this yourself, there will be times where I will cut. You will have a cutscene, either pause or wait ahead or whatever you prefer to do. But here, this is where we'll start to get our first achievement. All achievements will be time-stamped and referenced throughout. There's 25 in total. Most of them, all bar 4, are technically story-related. The collectibles are not really missable with chapter select. The only challenging one being complete the game without dying. So here we go, this is our introduction to stealth. We hold left trigger to crouch. Enemies have field of vision, and we just have to do the classic thing of wait for her to turn around and cross. And we'll go ahead. And then shortly after we pass this box, it should pop. There we go, that's achievement number 1. This first chapter, there is no risk of dying, so there's nothing to be worried about. You will be able to complete this without any real issue. You can also get Game Pass rewards. As I said, it is on Game Pass. The game is brilliant. I will not be talking too much. I'll talk through when there are achievements ahead, when there's specific things that you're doing, or any kind of challenging puzzles. I'll explain that, but otherwise you won't hear from me. So we'll just continue going to the left. We'll be introduced here to our first sort of pseudo puzzle, just the game demonstrating that we can hold X to move things. So we'll drag these logs to the left, jump up on top, and then jump up onto the right, and continue following our sister. So this is the first sort of cutscene. As I mentioned, I'll be cutting the majority of the cutscenes out. You won't be missing anything, so you likely will be playing it yourself. So I'll just pick up where the cutscene ends or near thereafter. So just continue to the left after this. Okay, and this is when things start to go bad to worse. We have this alien invasion. We now need to return to the village, so we're just going to continue to the right until we get back to there. Okay, and this is our first introduction to an enemy, so if you just want to hide in that long grass there, drop down once it goes to move to the right, hide in the grass again, let it cross over you, and make your way to the right. You can technically die here, I suppose, but obviously this is kind of a tutorial of how to hide what enemies do, so it is very easy. Just take it slow, follow what I do, and you should be fine. You have to fall into the water there, so don't worry about it. Obviously, that enemy, the spider kind of drone, will spot you otherwise, so just drop down and continue to swim to the right. This enemy can't really see us, so just continue going to the right. And then when you drop into the water, you'll have to continue to do the same, going to the right hand side. That will be the majority of this game for the most part, the kind of walking sim, limbo style of continue to the next area. So this is another drone enemy who has the set field of vision. Just wait until he's out of sight and jump across. And then this is the introduction to having to move things, so you just have to hold X and use the directional button, left stick for me, to rip things off the wall, and then just crouch when the enemy is outside of vision. Continue on, crouch under, and then wait for this drone to be looking in the opposite direction. And you can make a break for it. And wait again until he's facing the other direction, and he will spot you here, but that's fine. You can just crawl under the shack. And then just make your way towards this cave, which will be the end of this section. Now we're introduced to ropes. Ropes function exactly as how you expect. You just need to jump onto them. You can climb up down them, you can swing left or right to gain momentum, and then you can jump off them. And sometimes you'll have, or I certainly did, I can't say you will for certain, you'll get kind of stuck on ledges, you'll just kind of hang there. You are supposed to hold up to climb up, but if you are on the ledge, hold up and don't immediately go up, you might get stuck there. So now we just have a long kind of walking section, so I'll be back with you once we're back into the gameplay. So now we'll be into the next area. There'll be a number of things that are kind of explained to us here. We'll gain new abilities, we'll be able to do mechanics, but there'll be explained to us gradually, so it's fairly easy. For the most part, we just need to continue heading right, and I'll be back with you when some more interesting stuff's happening. Okay, so this will be our introduction to our first kind of natural enemy. It'll be a boar-like creature that we have to avoid their vision. Just simply jump into the grass, wait till they turn away, and then when they turn away again, just run to the next section of grass and crouch in it. And then you can make a break for it. If you're going for the no death achievement, I would not recommend this. This was just me kind of limit testing. You can do it quite comfortably, but yeah, it's not comfortably in the sense that you won't be terrified of failing. And the platforming is fairly forgiving. You will unfortunately have the odd kind of misinputs or the game being a bit iffy, but for the most part, just time your jumps, that sort of thing. And this is our first kind of actual puzzle. It's a kind of counterweight puzzle. We just need to drag the box to the center to start with, using it as a way to climb up onto the left-hand platform, which will lower it. And then we can drag the box to the far left and jump up to this upper area to drop down a second box. And the purpose of this is so we can use the second box to prevent the left-hand platform raising, and we can jump onto the right-hand platform to climb up to the next area. So you'll just see me do that now. And then move this to the center so obviously you can climb up onto it, but make sure that you put the secondary box onto the platform so that it doesn't lower the right-hand section. Now, more just continuing to the right. I'll be back with you when there's more things to do. Okay, so this is going to be our next introduction to the boar enemy. So what we'll need to do is hold down to drop down, raise back up, and then run. We need to make sure we jump to the other side, and then the boar will drop down. And we'll use the boar in a little bit, so unfortunately you do have to do it this way, you do have to kill the boar. But then if we just continue down, and then if we go all the way to the left-hand side here, so just past here, through this cave, this will be our first shrine, and this will also give you an achievement. This will be the first of 10. There's 10 total for the actual shrines, and then there's a 11th achievement for collecting them all. And then I'll let the achievements pop just so that I can show them, and then we'll carry on. So if we just go back through to where the boar was, we'll need to drag them. We can also manipulate them the same way we can other objects. So if we just carry him over to this kind of black sludge with the eyes sticking out the ground, we'll realise that it's actually a sensor and raises this platform. So there we go, just jump up, continue to the right hand side. music will always kind of underpin actions, so when you have dramatic music like this, there is likely going to be drone enemies or some sort of drone puzzle coming up. So this is our introduction to Mui. Mui is a kind of black cat. Mui has mystical natural powers and will be with us throughout the game to assist with puzzles. This here being a fairly simple one, where you just have to free Mui. Use the switch to the left hand side here. Before you do that, you do actually need to drag the box to the right hand side. You'll see as I do here. That's because when you activate the switch, you'll raise the box, which will make the platform reachable on the right hand side. So just follow Mui up to the right hand side here, jump onto the rocks and continue to the right. Some of the jumping sections can be quite nerve-wracking. As I mentioned, if you're in for the no death achievement, I wouldn't recommend it on your first try. You absolutely can do it if you want to, but it's probably better to just do it through chapter select. There's a few times the game can be a bit buggy, a bit iffy. I had Mui just throw themselves off a cliff a few times, so I would probably just play along, and then if you wanted to, chapter select as you go. So jump down here, you'll fall through the boards. And then what you need to do is climb up to this part of the rock on the right, on the left, and then jump to the right and fall down. And then just crawl through the cave to catch up with Mui. And this will introduce us to another mechanic, so Mui can interact with objects that are out of our reach. And we'll also get our first achievement for being assisted by Mui, or rescuing Mui, I suppose it is. Again, just continue to the right. And we'll get this beautiful set piece. This is something the game is really good at. Not only creating beautiful environments, but framing them really well in a manner that you can enjoy. So I decided to ruin it by talking through it, but I'll try avoid doing that in future. Okay, so Mui's got themselves in a bit of bother here. This is one of the kind of spider drone enemies that has the fixed one direction field of view. What we need to do is drop down to move the box, so the box that Mui's in, to the right hand side, climb on top of the box and then make it to the switch. Now you'll have to probably do this in 2 segments. I couldn't find a way to do it in one, so what I'd do is just wait until the robot is as far away as possible facing the other direction, make a move for it, drag it along, and then head back to the grass. And then when he's facing away again, just climb up, jump on top, jump over to the right, and then crawl space. Now, one important thing to note with this is when you need to wait until the drone is not looking at Mui to activate the switch, otherwise Mui will immediately be exterminated. So yep, just wait until he's looking away. Mui will have the extra time to make it through the cave, and he can't get here. Mui very kindly will knock down the rope to climb up, and then continue ahead. this is the first of a couple of dream sequences. This is you, or Lana, remembering the time earlier with her sister. So you will literally just have to do the same thing you did earlier, head to the left, move the log so you can jump up and catch up with your sister. And now we'll be back to our body and we'll be able to get another achievement. This will just be for petting Mui. As usual, just continue to the right. And this will be our first introduction to controlling Mui. So we can hold to attract Mui to us, and you can press to get Mui to stay in place. This can be a bit finicky. You'll probably see in this playthrough. The response time can be a bit slow sometimes. Sometimes it just won't listen, particularly around areas where there's water and things like that. But I will explain what's needed to do, and obviously don't stress it if you do die. Like I said, chapter select is always there. And this is the first time we need to use the getting Mui to sit. Now, you'll see that I have issues with it. Mui doesn't sit, does sit, loses sitting. Something that the game doesn't immediately explain to you is you can hold right trigger and press A to direct Mui. So if you're having issues like me here, you can use that. Unfortunately, I didn't know that at the time. I will be slightly less annoying as the playthrough progresses, because I do realise that and don't have the same issue. But yeah, so just get Mui to sit on the sensor, and when you do, just proceed over the edge and jump to the other side. Okay, same again, just get Mui to sit on the spot, jump over to the side, you stand on the next one and recall Mui. And then you need Mui to stand on the second, the one on the right hand, the sensor on the right hand side, so that you can jump down onto this platform and get across. Mui, however, being a cat, is absolutely fine. If you just recall them, they will come to you regardless. If, like me, you are very forgetful, at several points you'll forget to recall Mui, that's fine. It's only in very specific environments where Mui can kill themselves, so don't stress it too much. Here you can just climb up and open the kind of fence bit on the right hand side of Mui, and they will come to you.
Olej. Jaj.
So this is where we're introduced to the fact we can hold right trigger and direct Mui. and have them specifically interact with things. So just get Mui to go up to the rope, lower it with Y, climb up and continue to the right.
Hola, Mui.
Now this is where we're introduced to the ability to drop down ledges. You just have to press down on the D-pad while you're near the end of a ledge, and then jump across with direction, left stick directionally in A. Nothing too complex here, so just continue along to the right. Now, this is the first interaction we'll have with kind of a rock monster, essentially. What we need to do is run as fast as we can to the right-hand side, crouch underneath, and then you'll need to get Mui to stay in place. The rock monster is only interested in Mui, so the rock monster will now stay there. You can jump up top and avoid them. Once you've jumped up top and on top of the monster, you can recall Mui to you, and Mui will be quick enough to avoid the monster themselves.
Hola,
There we go.
Mui.
And we can just continue to the right as usual. Now, this is another mechanic we're introduced to. Mui can bite ropes. You see that kind of yellow frayed bit? That's the symbol that Mui can destroy them. So just continue across the bridge. And this is another situation where we can direct Mui to activate the sensor and climb up, and then recall Mui to us and continue on. Now this is a section where we're introduced to holes. Now the kind of holes that are in the ground, you can send Mui to and press Y. They will go to the corresponding hole. In this instance it activates the sensor so we can jump across, and then we can activate the sensor on the other side to open the platform so that Mui can jump across to us. And then we can continue on. Now we'll be introduced to electrified things. This is obviously, it means you can't touch them, or Mui can't touch them for fear of injury. But if we just continue up to the left hand side here and ignore the puzzle for the moment, we will find another shrine. All we need to do is just drag the cart here, jump up top, and then continue left. I set Mui here because it's for the puzzle later, but yep, if you just interact here. And then that'll be number 2. Now we can go back to the puzzle. I'll always hover on the achievements just for an extra second for people who are searching for specific achievements. So then get Mui to bite the cable so that the wooden cart is now free, and then we can drag the cart onto the panel to change the power. Oh, apologies. First we need to go to the right to jump up to the power. So we'll go here, drop down, open the cable section, and we'll set Mui next to the cable so that once the power is deactivated, then Mui can chew through it. So you'll see here me struggling with the...
Olay.
So what you need to do is use RT and A to aim Mui. Now, that can be a bit finicky sometime. I think... Oh, I forgot at this point I could do that, I think, is the issue that I'm having. But yeah, so you just need to direct Mui to that point. And then Mui will chew through the frayed cable, freeing the box. You can then use the box to go up to the next area. I think at this point I realize I can just do it through the floor. Yeah, there we go. So, just direct Mui. Chew through. Box is freed. And then we can drag it to the right and jump up to continue.
Olay.
Okay, so with that ominous music again, we know we're going to have an interaction with the drones. So if we just hide in the grass bit here and wait for them to run to the right, we can immediately go underneath, drop down into this grass. You can go straight under. I was a bit panicked, so I just stayed in the grass for an extra second. But you can go straight under if you can make it. And then obviously when he turns the other way again, you can go into the grass and jump up. And he can't get you through the kind of bit under here, so as long as you can make it in time, he will be able to get you through there. And then if we just carry on. You'll see here, I forget to recall Mui, but Mui will catch up. They run about the same speed as you.
Muy. Olay.
So just continue to this kind of shack. Keep going to the right. We'll see this log cart we need to move. Drag it to the miniature cliff face and climb up. And then you won't notice, but that is a rock monster, so just have Mui sit there and proceed. Crawl under the small crawl space, hop up onto the top of this platform, continue ahead. And then as you cross over here, don't immediately move the box. There is actually another shrine here, so what we'll do is if we just rip our way through these boards and climb up on top of the box above us. And then we'll actually be able to jump up onto this little ledge here. It's only just visible. And this will be Shrine 3 of 10. So now what we're going to do is head back down. As I mentioned, we'll now need to move the box. And if we just drag it as far to the right as we can, it'll be stopped by the lip of the upper platform. But once you get to the far side, what you want to do is recall Mui. Recalling Mui will cause the rock monster to chase them.
Hima muy.
That will raise the platform you're
Hola.
currently on and mean you can continue dragging the box to the right. And then you just want to jump on top of the box, jump on top of the ledge, and keep going to the right. Now what you want to do is just tell Mui to stand on the sensor so you can get on the platform. Jump up, jump across. Bad music means enemies, so just be ready. What we'll need to do here is just crouch into the short grass. And then this is one of the more challenging puzzles or enemy puzzles that you'll have to do. What you'll need to do is get Mui to stand on top of one of the holes. So if you go through to this one, Mui will then stand on top of it. If you just get Mui to sit in place, and if you press Y so that Mui pops out of the hole that is in front of the enemy, and then immediately press Y again so that Mui comes back, and then recall Mui so you can come to the grass. Wait till the enemy is done inspecting the hole. You can do it in one shot. I do it in two here just to be safe. So go back through the hole, get the attention of the drone, and when the drone is chasing Mui's original location, call Mui to use so you can carry on. And then once Mui's with you, you just want to recall them up to that top area so that they can chew the wire of the logs and drop the... Now that's all quite a quick sequence, so it might be worth taking your time with that one, making sure you understand what you have to do. It's not too complex in what you have to actually do, but there is some timing elements, so it can take a bit of practice. But once you're done, more walking. Okay, so if we just drop down to the ledge and jump across again, we will fall. This is scripted, don't worry. You cannot make it to the other side. If you try, you will die. What you have to do is exactly what I did, it's fall down into the caves. Now, a mechanic of this area that is unique is there is kind of bioluminescent areas, and to illuminate them, you require Mui to stand on them. So there you go. And there are things that are in the darkness that are not interactable unless they are lit up. So you won't notice it yet, but as we climb to the right and climb up this rock face, there is actually a rope directly above us that won't be visible till we activate this spot here. So we'll recall Mui, get them to stand on this spot, and then we'll go back on ourselves. This is for the next shrine. This will be shrine 4 of 10. So we'll go back. Jump up this rope that's now revealed, and we'll get our 4th achievement. Okay, and once you've got that, you can drop back down. What you'll need to do is leave Mui on the luminescent spot, just so that they continue to reveal the area in front of you. Even if you know what's there and you try and jump over it, you will just die. So you need to make sure that Mui is revealing the area. And then once you get to the other side of this platform, there'll be another one. And call Mui. activate it, and then cross again. And then at this point you'll need to direct Mui, you need to point them with the right trigger, and it'll reveal another rope that you couldn't see previously, and you'll be able to climb up and go across. Now, once you get to this area, you will be introduced to a new enemy. It's a kind of ominous spider creature. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's very limbo-like. What you'll need to do is get Mui to stand on the transport hole. Then you'll need to drop down on the rope to get the attention of the monster. As you do that, you'll need to climb back up really quickly. Press Y for Mui to go across onto the luminescent area. And because this spider is scared of light, or this creature is scared of light, you'll be able to drop down and progress. Now, you will need to free Mui from the other side, because if you just recall Mui through the hole, they will be attacked by the monster. So just jump up here and pull the flaccid planks off the wall. And then continue to the right. Be sure not to drop down because the monster does get freed once Mui's left the area. And then when you get to this area, just direct Mui to go up top. And press Y for Mui to interact with it to open this kind of gate door area. And then we'll continue into this area. There will be a puzzle at the end of this. If you want to solve it yourself, I'll explain how to do so. Alternatively, just do what I do. The answer to the puzzle is the same for everyone. So continue to the right. These kind of sigils will reveal themselves. I will stop for an extra long time at one of them. That is the one that reveals part of the puzzle sequence. It's not particularly complex, so you can, but you're very welcome to do it yourself. But if you're just trying to blast through it, then follow me. So when you get to this area here, there'll be a little trigger point in the center of the room, and then you'll see in the very top left and the very bottom right there are some thick white block symbols with a number of dots next to them. In the next room there will be a corresponding set of pipes that you'll be able to use those with. So as I'm sure you noticed, this is the pipes that I was mentioning earlier. Now there is an additional two, so there's one behind that log, and there's one in the top left just off screen that explains what the puzzle solution is. But as I mentioned, you can just follow what I do. And then once you've entered the correct code, if you just jump onto the rope and hang on to it, you'll hear the bells, and then right hand side where the door with sigils on it is, it will open and you can continue to proceed. Now just interact with this set of banners, and it will give you, or it will give Mui an additional set of abilities. I believe the term in the game is hypnosis. It'll allow Mui to interact and possess live organisms.
Bueno, muy.
We'll also get a nice little achievement. So this will be our first interaction with the kind of hypnosis thing. What you'll do is you'll hold Y to possess the individual, and then you'll use right trigger and the left stick directionally to move it. It can be a bit buggy sometimes. I had several issues with it. But basically, if you possess them, you hold Y. Mui needs to maintain sightline to do that. And then if you are holding right trigger, Mui will move in the direction that you move. And in this case, if you move backwards, that will remove the vines. So we'll get Mui to go into the bioluminescent stuff on the side, and you want to drop down here. Be careful, use the ledge, lower yourself, and then continue ahead. Recall Mui with you. Now this is another kind of enemy, or it's not particularly an enemy, it won't attack you, but it's a live character that you can interact with. There's two of them in this area, and they're essentially light sensitive. They won't move or interact with you if they're in light, so what you need to do is use this one up top, use your hypnosis, move it backward to block the light beam from above, and then have Mui interact with the one that's now awake below, and move them forward, and you can use them as a platform. Now keep Mui attached to them, because when you jump up here, you will need the second half of them, or the back half of them, to be pushed back out again so you can climb up. And that's the end of the cave section. The next section won't have too many challenges in terms of enemies. It will primarily be puzzle jumping sections. So here we'll have another section with the biosensor, so we'll have Mui stand on it. And if we move the box to the right and activate the switch to raise the box, we'll now be able to jump from the top rock all the way across to the right hand side. Just make sure you don't recall Mui until you're all the way across and you don't drop yourself down. And we have a second kind of weight-based puzzle. This one's just primarily about getting Mui to the top with you. So Before we do that though, I don't know if you spotted it because it's very well hidden. It's probably the best hidden shrine in the game. On the right hand side there is a tiny ledge that will lead to our next shrine, which will be 5 of 10. Now, I had a bit of an issue getting to it. I think I miss it on the first jump, yeah. But on the second jump I get it. I think there's kind of a sweet spot on where you swing on the rope. But yeah, if you just do this, you'll get into the kind of secret area and get the next shrine. Now what I want to do is go back out. The rope, we'll just use the rope to jump across onto the upper area. Or you'll do what I did and you'll miss. But when you get back up onto the upper area, you'll want to stand on the raised platform that's on the right hand side, lowering it down so that Mui can stand on it. And then if you just get Mui to jump up onto it when they can, and go back up to the area that you were originally at. You see it's a bit buggy here for me, but if you go back up to the area, climbing the rope, you'll be able to jump up slightly higher, and now with Mui's assistance, you'll be able to get up to the very top of this hill.
Olay. Vamos aqui. Kialo.
Once up, just continue across the bridge and go to the right.
Olay, Mui.
As I'm sure you can guess by the ominous noise, we will have an interaction here. So just continue down and crawl under the space into the grass. There will be the roaming spider drone type things. All you'll need to do essentially is get to the middle section where the drone currently is. So once they go to the upper level, if you just run across and jump up to there. And what you want to do is set Mui on the opposite side, wait a moment until the drone stops looking. But when the drone isn't looking, you'll set them on the little tunnel hole, and then you'll leave Mui there until it gets the attention of the drone so that you can jump up to the left. So you'll see here, I'll pop him back through to get his attention. Eventually, apologies, I missed it on the first try. So here we go, so he'll jump across, you'll press Y to lower Mui so he doesn't get caught, jump up to the left, hide in the bush, and then the drone will make a second lap, so they'll run back on themselves in a clockwise fashion. And then what you'll do is you'll do it once again to attract the drone's attention again, and as the drone is going to attack Mui, you'll just jump back over. The timing on this can be a tiny bit finicky, but it's not too difficult. So once the drone goes to the left, you just jump over the top of him and proceed to the right. We have another set of vines that we need Mui to interact with to remove. And then we have a lot of running to the right to do.
Mui.
So we're now in the swamp section. The swamp section introduces the water mechanic. Water, we soon find out Mui is afraid of and will not interact with. So that creates several aspects to puzzles where you will have to go ahead and come back for Mui to rescue them in different ways. The water itself you're fine with. You can swim in, you can jump in. There are no water creatures either for people who have issues with that, so you are completely safe in the water. It's only ever drones or the typical enemies that you'll be facing. So to start with, we just need to swim to the right hand side. What we'll be doing is retrieving a log. You can see it just to the top right of the screen there. That log we'll be using to drag through the water to put Mui on as a little raft and bring across. So if you just go up to the log and hit X to drag it into the water, or hold X I should say. The game does struggle a bit sometimes when you're holding environmental objects. So you just want to drag this into the water. And then you have to drag it through the water to Mui, and you can either direct Mui onto it or recall Mui. Again, that can be a bit iffy, sometimes the interaction doesn't always work, but once Mui is on the log, just drag them all the way to the right and continue.
Ima. Olaj. Ima. Olaj, Mui. Vamos aqui. Kialo, Mui.
So now we have a section with the bioluminescent, the biosensors. Obviously, we can only have the ones that are above the water we interacted with. So just to start here, all we need to do is extend the... oh, apologies, I forgot about this. The shrine. So if we just crouch to the right-hand side here, so well hidden I'd forgotten about it, is shrine number 6 of 10. And then we'll go back up and activate the biosensor so that we can have Mui crossover. Now you'll have to do this in 2 sections. Mui unfortunately doesn't stand on the biosensor at the top. You'll need to direct them to do that. So if you just go back once you've got them to come across, and then use right trigger to direct them. That'll raise the platform to the right and you can continue.
Vamos aqui. Olaj.
So this is a new type of environmental friend, I suppose. This sort of worm caterpillar thing. You can use them to manipulate water levels when you have Mui interact with them. So you raise the water to swim across, and what we'll need to do is we continue to go to the underneath bit, or get Mui to jump across when the water's lowered, sorry. So fully lower the water,
Olaj.
Mui comes across, and then we can continue and get the vine to be dropped and climb up.
Vamos aquí. Quiero muy.
So now you just want to drop down here, use the drop and jump across. And then drop again into the swamp. And then if you proceed immediately to the left through a sort of cave outlet, you'll find another shrine, and that'll be 7 of 10. So once you've got the achievement, if you just head to the right, continue swimming under the roots of this tree. And then you can use the rope to swing to the left and open the wooden board section. And this will allow me to come across.
Olaj.
Have Mui hypnotise the
Olaj,
kind
Mui.
of plant vines and move them out of the way, and continue to the right.
Quiero. Muy. Olaj, muy.
So what we want to do is continue to the right hand side. We're going to swim across, and basically what we need to do is break the sort of boarded area to the left near Mui. And then what we'll do is drop down with Mui so that Mui can manipulate the water levels with the kind of worm friend. So if we just continue all the way to the right, use the kind of ropes to swing to the all the way to the left, and then we'll drop down through the kind of weak floorboards to open that area. Now when we drop through this, we'll recall Mui to us and have Mui hypnotise the worm so we can manipulate the water levels. You need to make sure you stand far enough away, because if you are too close to the worm, they will actually retract into the ground. However, that won't happen, so Mui can stand as close as needed.
Vamos aquí. Quiero.
And when the water level's low enough, you can proceed to the right. Unfortunately, you will have to trudge through the water. There's no real alternative. As you do so, you'll notice that there is a log on the far right hand side here. And now this is where it gets a bit finicky, so what you'll need to do is raise the water level slightly, just enough that the rock the rock is submerged and the log can get over it. And then when you get to the other side, you'll need to lower the water level again, so that the log will be lowered to the bottom. I'm sure you can see where this is going. You need to then drag it all the way to the end, raise the water level all the way to the top, make sure Mimi gets onto the log, and help Mimi to the other side.
Hola, muy. Hola. Hola.
I had an issue here. Mui just did not want to continue. It is an issue. This is exactly what you meant to do. I don't know why Mui did not want to get off the
Hola,
log.
muy.
It took me kind of moving the log, dragging the log, requesting to get off, jump up, directing him. Eventually he did, but there was no particular reason for him being stuck. Hopefully he doesn't have an issue. You don't have that issue.
Hola.
So now we can use Mui to open the area to the right here and continue.
Hello, muy. Muy. Muy.
So that will be the swamp level completed. We'll climb up to this kind of spaceship thing and continue to the right. We should get an achievement for that, and it'll also start the next chapter. There it is. Okay, so now we're on to what is a kind of spaceship, essentially. There is a large amount of lore in this area. There is no collectibles, but there is, like I said, a massive amount of lore and things that are kind of interesting. So if you just start by interacting with this kind of little switch. Continue on through the door to the right. There isn't particularly many enemies in this area, but there is a number of places that you can accidentally die due to falling, electricity, a variety of things. So if you just start by continuing to the right here, time dropping down, and then we'll come to a electrified area just to the right here. Be sure to avoid that. And what we'll need to do is direct Mui to the little button underneath the electrified panel. And then if we have Mui press that button, we can climb up. And the electricity's gone, so we can just continue to the right. And then there's just a lengthy section of walking to the right here. And there'll be a short cutscene when you get to the end of this little pathway here. So just continue to the right here. So this enemy here, what you'll need to do is, if you get Mui to interact with the button or stand near the button, you'll need to wait until the enemy has gone as far left as possible, and you'll have to jump down this little section here. You'll wait until you get past it, press Y, and you'll kill the enemy. has to be very quick. You can take your time with it to make sure you've got the distances right, but it's not difficult, it is just very specific. I was a little quick with it there, so if you want to, slow it down, try it yourself, I would recommend it. But that's how you defeat that enemy, and you continue ahead. And you'll have a long section of walking to the right, so be ready for that. Okay, for our next puzzle, you'll need to get Mui to sit near the button here, activate it,
Vamos aquí.
and then jump onto the bridge,
Hello,
and then get Mui to activate it again to remove the bridge so that you can drop down.
Hello. Hola.
I'd recommend dropping down there, because if you jump, you can kill yourself. Okay, so for this, what you need to do is get Mui to go near the button up top, drag this kind of power coupler into the water, do the same with the power coupler on the opposite side, have them both be submerged fully into the water and extended. And then there's a button on the far right of the screen, just behind the kind of girder bit. And what you'll do is you want to press Y to activate the electricity, and then press X to activate the bridge. Now, wait until the bridge is fully extended, then press Y again to deactivate the electricity. Make sure it's fully deactivated. I nearly caught myself there. So if you go back to the water, continue ahead, and you can go across the bridge that's now extended.
Hola.
Get Mui to drop the rope and climb up to the top. Be careful with the ropes. I had a couple of issues where I would hold to the left, but my character would jump to the right, and led to me,
Hello.
well, a couple of times it led to me dying, so it is definitely worth being careful. But just make sure when you gesture each direction, your character will lean that way, so make sure that that is definitely what they're doing before you jump, and you don't make my mistake. Continue up the pipe here to the right.
Muy.
So there'll be a sort of flying saucer thing in the middle of the room here. You just need to interact with the station next to it first. After a short cutscene, you will then need to interact with the orb of light that comes from the saucer itself. So this will actually give us the ability to control robots. That does include drones in future levels. Unfortunately, it doesn't make it much easier. There is still some very challenging sections to come up. I'd say the next 2 chapters are probably the hardest chapters in the game. But once you've got that, that's another achievement unlocked. You'll just want to continue to the right. Now this section can be a bit fiddly. There is a lot of timing and moving parts, but to start with we just want to jump onto this platform to lower it. We will be introduced to the ability to control robots, as I mentioned. One of the robots, or the only robot that will be allowed to manipulate in this area, is the platform we're currently stood on. So to do that we need to go to the left hand side here. We'll see this kind of glowing white orb in a machine. So if we hold X on that, that will give us control of the platform. It takes a while to take control, just bear that in mind. It's not bugged, it's just slow. So we need to keep the platform to the right here, and we need to have it just past the edge of the kind of platform there, and we want to raise it as high as it'll go because this will gradually lower over time. So once you've got it to the top, hold X to take away control, and then jump up to the side. Now, as I mentioned, be very careful. If you fall, you will die. If you miss, you will die. It's really challenging, so just wait until it's at the right point, jump onto the platform as it's lowering, and then jump across to the left hand side where the switch is. Now it's also handy if you put Mui and make Mui sit on that, because we'll need that in a moment. So just run to the left, open the grate, get Mui to sit on the platform, and then we need to interact again with the moving platform. So we'll move it up. Now what we'll need to do is get Mui to chew through the cable. It's currently electrified, so don't do that. But what you need to do is line Mui up with it, raise it to the top, hold X to stop interacting with it, and then immediately jump to the switch that we just opened the grate next to. So if we go over here, and then what we want to do is hold X to move the grate, and then when Mui's in line with the frayed part of the rope, you press Y, and then we want to reactivate the power, and we want to move the platform so it bridges the gap between the opened bridge section and the section above the power control. As always with this panel, we need to raise it to the roof because it will lower. So raise it to the very top, hold X to stop interacting with it, jump onto the platform, and then you'll have to jump across both. This is the part that I found the most hard. It took me several runs to get, obviously this is a perfect run in total, but this particular section took me the most practice to get right. So you want it almost exactly, I'd say not quite halfway, you want it slightly more towards the bridge. You do want a bit of a run up, there's an element of momentum to this, and then jump as late as you can, just as the platform gets in line with your platform, and then as quick as you can, jump across. And call Mui and continue.
Hola.
Okay, so we just want to carry on and head through the gap here. And then just continue to the right. We have one of the kind of very basic hide sections. We just want to hide in the grass till the enemy swings over us, and then go to the right. This will be the first time we can control a drone though, so if you just want to rip the panel off this and hold X on it. And the controls for the drone are just left stick to move and right trigger to fly upwards. It's challenging, but what we want to do is we just want to land them on that biosensor so they can open the platform for us, and then we can proceed ahead. Now we want to interact with this boat, and that will take us to our next chapter. So immediately from the start of this chapter, we want to go to the left. This is one of the easiest to get, but also probably the easiest to miss shrines. So if we just continue all the way to the left-hand side here, we will get shrine number 8 of 10. Now, unfortunately, it's a very long swim. We will have to swim all the way back again. So now if we just continue all the way right here. This level will also be somewhat easy, there won't be too many challenging enemies. Obviously we'll point out what sections might be difficult, but if you just keep going to the right. Don't forget to recall Mui like I did.
Hola. ¡Hilo! ¡Hilo!
So we need to use Mui as bait here, so if we get them out there and have them hypnotise the boar, we can use them to back up onto that biosensor and raise the platform to our left. We can now jump up. And we can also jump all the way to the right. Something that it doesn't mention but is worth noting is if Mui stops hypnotising a enemy, they will be dazed for a short moment, so you'll see here that the boar doesn't immediately attack Mui, there is time for them to run away. So now that's done, we're just going to continue to the right.
Muy. Hola. Vamos aquí. Hello.
So I don't think you, when you immediately get up here, you want to obviously hide in the grass. You can make it to this little under bit straight away if you try, but I would always recommend going for the grass and then playing it safe. But once the drone goes above you, just proceed ahead. Far more simple than some of the other kind of sections, but if you just make sure you run all the way. The drone does kind of chase you, so if you just jump across that, you should be fine. Now we'll be introduced to this kind of goo. Now the goo is also the enemy of the drones, so they will destroy it. But when you walk through the goo, you will be slowed. So you need to wait until the drone has gone all the way to the left. I didn't time it very well here, but you can go, and then once it's going to the right, you just continue, get into the next section of grass, and then again, once it goes all the way to the left, you can dip ahead. So to start with, we just want Mui to drop us this vine. Now, we'll use the vine to swing across the slime. The slime, obviously, if it has those kind of tendrils sticking out, it will do damage. It won't just slow you down, it will do damage and kill you. So we need to use the vine so that we don't die. And then what we'll be able to do is, on the other side of here will be the drone control station. So we'll be able to actually take control of the drone and use it to kill the kind of black tendrils. So if you just crawl under here, rip the panel off the drone bot, and take control of the drone. I believe there's 4 areas of the kind of black sludge that you need to attack with the drone. So I would do that first once you take control. So I was unlucky, it was all the way to the right, so I had quite a ways to go. All the way to the left, so I had to come back to the right. So if you just follow it, try not to hit things like I do. But then once you put the tendrils in the field of vision, the drone will attack them. Now just continue to the right. This is the path we're going to walk shortly. If you just repeat this process, so that's 2, that's 3, and then this should be the last one, that's 4. And once you've destroyed all the tendrils, you want to go straight up. There'll be a platform directly above on a cliff face. And you'll notice there's a shrine right next to it. And there's some, there is a biosensor that you'll need to activate. So once you've done that, you'll need to stop interacting with the drone, move all the way to the left-hand side, and climb up to the area we've just opened. So yep, just jump onto the extended platform, carry on all the way to the right hand side. As always, interact with the shrine. This will be 9 of 10. And you'll get your achievement. So just head back down once you've got your achievement, and you'll just need to proceed to the right hand side where we cleared all the black sludge.
Ima.
You can jump a little bit to avoid some of the delay from the goop, but for the most part you just have to kind of trudge through it. And keep going to the right, we'll be able to climb up this little rock face here and swing across with the rope. Now you'll notice there's a large section of water here, so what we'll need to do is we'll need to free one of the logs and drag Mui all the way across. So what you want to do is just go all the way to the right first and drop down into the water. And then once in the water, head to the left hand side, you'll see there's a log just in front of the kind of bamboo frame, and if you just drag the log backwards, it will free the rope and the frame will fall down. And then you just want to drag the log all the way to the left, have Mui jump on it so you can drag it all the way to the right. As I've mentioned, the log can be a bit funky. Make sure every time you switch from water to land, you will have to re-grab it, and obviously hold on to it to drag Mui across. But once Mui's on it, just drag it all the way to the right hand side, climb up the cliff face and continue.
Tamaki. Tamaki. Hello.
So this will be another section with drones we need to avoid. It's not too difficult for the most part. There's only one or two you actually have to avoid. You can just start back into the grass here. Once the drone leaves, you can run ahead into the little shack, and you can run straight into the grass. Now this section is slightly feels more complicated than it actually is, but what we need to do is hypnotise the boar on the right hand side using Mui, and then we need to use the boar as bait. Essentially we need to drag the boar all the way to the left hand side so that the drone will attack them. And I came across the issue here where you kind of lose sight. You can let go of right trigger and move, but I was worried that Millie would be caught in the vision of the enemy. You can't really see it off camera here, but the drone will kill the boar and it's on top of the bioluminescent, the biosensor that will trigger the cropping to stick out. I did have to crop it here because I got so confused, I got so stuck, but yes, once you've done that you need to get Mui to stand on the second sensor, which will make the second platform extend. So you'll have these two now stuck out, and you'll just need to climb up to this section here where you'll be able to control the drone. And what you'll do with that is you'll use it to make the drone land on the biosensor on top of the rock. And what you'll do once you've landed on top of the rock is you'll get Mui to come up to you, and you'll have Mui actually stand on top of the sensor that the drone is currently on top of. So you'll go up there as well yourself. Have Mui stand on the little sludge there, and then you'll use the drone to land on a different sensor, which is actually where the boar was originally. So you'll drop down just to the right hand side, land on the sensor, and that will open a final platform so you can run across. So you'll jump up here, onto the rock, past Mui, all the way to the right hand side. And then you'll have Mui interact with the vines to open up the next area.
Hola. Hello. Hola, Mui.
Keep following the path. Now this is another somewhat complicated section where you will need to manipulate the water. So you'll start by having Mui hypnotise the worm and lower the water as far down as it'll go. You then need to proceed to the right, avoiding the drones using the kind of little outcroppings so that you can hide underneath them, and making it as far to the right hand side as you can. As I'm sure you're guessing, the end goal here is that we will get a log. We'll drag that log back to Mui, and then Mui will come with us to the other side. The drones aren't too bad here. Obviously their field of vision is very visible, which is helpful. So just make sure you're staying outside of their vision. Continue to the very far right side here. And then what you'll need to do is when you get to the edge here, you'll need Mui to raise the water so that you can climb up to the top section of rocks and then continue back the way you came, this time on top of the rocks rather than below them, avoiding the drones as you do. And then when you get to the furthest left section of rocks, you will notice that there is actually a log on top of them. it can be a bit difficult to get the log to drop into the water. But once it's in the water, what you'll need to do is lower it to the kind of level where it is currently, and then you can drag Mooey all the way across and proceed with the next section. So here's the log. Now obviously you need to use the bushes to hide from the drones when they're hovering over top, but once they leave you alone you can just quickly nip out, and it doesn't matter if the log drops into their field of vision. That was something that I wasn't too sure about, but yeah, you can drop the log into the field of vision, that won't affect them. And then you just want to swim across to Mooey. Again, I had some issues here, I think, with getting Mooey onto the log. But once Mooey's on the log, you just need to essentially do the same thing you did, avoid the drones, swim all the way to the right hand side.
Hola.
This section again will just be a lot of running to the right, so just continue and I'll be back with you when there is some more puzzling to do. So again, we'll just want to climb up the rope here once Mooey's dropped it down for us, and continue on.
Cielo.
What you'll need to do here is just jump up onto the ledge on the right and then use that to jump down and break the weak little boards on the floor and continue ahead. This will be another long section of running to the right, so just continue on. Okay, when you arrive at this section, you just need to run to the little grass bit underneath the rocks, and then when the drone goes to the right, you just want to jump up and go to the very right hand side. So first you'll need to jump over the ledge on the left and then to the right. Now be careful because he can spot you, so you want to go as far to the right hand side as you can, hug the wall face, and then wait until he completes a rotation of his pathing, jump up, and then you'll be able to jump over the top of him as he leaves onto the right. Make sure you're obviously hidden in the grass before you do that, and then you can rip off the panel here, interact with it to take control of the drone. And then what you'll need to do is, if you land it next to yourself, you'll need to actually put Mui on top of the drone. So you use your right trigger and direct Mui on top of the drone, and then take control of the drone again. This is really an interesting mechanic that you only use a couple of times, but then you'll direct the drone and you'll see there's a frayed bit of wire or rope, and then you'll have Mui interact with it to snap it, and then you'll just drop down to the bottom and stop interacting with the drone, and then you'll proceed over to the area with the rope, and you can climb up it and continue.
Hola,
Have Mui hypnotise the vines and continue ahead.
Hello.
And then you'll see here, so what I do is, I struggle with QuickTime events, my finger's not good. The section ahead has QuickTime events. Now, if you go to accessibility, you can turn off QuickTime events. This means you won't have to do them and it will be a cutscene rather than you actually doing it. If you want to, leave it on, that's fine, I understand. I have, weak, painful fingers, so I decided not to. I will inform you at the point at which the QuickTime event is, so if you're expecting, because it won't be in the video, so if you're not expecting it, I'll inform you so you know when it's coming. But just continue to the right here, we're going to discover a giant spider, as I'm sure the cobwebs are a big giveaway for. So if you've got arachnophobia, skip ahead 10 minutes. So what we're going to do is place Mui on the edge of this cliff. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to hypnotise the spider. So we will act as bait, we're going to drop down and then head as far to the right as I do. There's kind of a specific trigger point. The spider can catch you, but it's kind of difficult. So you just want to go to kind of below the second set of eggs here. And then as soon as you do, he will wake up, and then you just want to run back. Go as far back as you can. The spider will come sprinting out, and then as soon as the spider gets... There we go. So as soon as this happens, there's a cutscene. The QuickTime events will start now. Obviously for me this is just a cutscene, but for you it will have QTE prompts. The prompts are semi-randomised. I believe it's fixed to just the letter buttons for Xbox. But obviously just keep an eye out for what comes on screen. You can die if you fail it, so it might be easier to just, for the sake of the achievement, turn on the accessibility options and not do it. But once you've done that, the giant spider will become docile and you'll be able to climb along its back and go to the right. And you're nearing the end of this section, so if you just continue, there'll be a very long walking to the right segment. I will shut up because this is one of the most beautiful segments in the game. Is incredibly visually and audially stunning. The original soundtrack amazing. I will let you appreciate the next 3 minutes in its entirety. The first time I played that through, that section gave me goosebumps. That was amazing. Okay, so we are onto the desert. The desert is the hardest chapter in my opinion, or it's certainly the one I found hardest. Obviously, it's different for everyone. But this feels like it certainly has some of the most unforgiving sections. So if you're going for the no death section, the no death achievement, then be aware of how difficult this section can be. To start though, we've got the classic just run to the right. Okay, so this is the first section with an enemy. We just want to crouch under this lip of the rock here. The spider drone will run to the right, run to the left. What we want to do is wait till his back is turned and then climb up to the secondary level. So hop onto the rock as soon as he turns round and then immediately hop onto the top of the metal platform. Now, his sightlines are a bit funny, so I crouched because when I didn't I got spotted. So I think that does matter in this scenario, so if you just want to crouch, wait until he goes to the left, and then just jump straight past. He will spot you on the way out, but if you just crouch into here, it won't matter. Okay, so this is another section where we have to use the light sensitive caterpillars. So what you want to do is go through to this little cave section here, have Mui stand in front of the caterpillar, and then jump on the platform to the right. That will lower it and mean that it's not being hit by the light beam. And then Mui can hypnotize it and move it backwards to lower the platform on the outside of the building.
Hello.
After the platform's lowered, you want to jump off the platform you're on and go onto the lowered platform from the outside. Now, because there is no power, the light beam will be on the caterpillar, and as soon as you're onto the platform here, you want Mui to retract the caterpillar and reactivate the power. Then have Mui come to you, recall them so that they're on the platform with you,
Olay.
otherwise they'll get lost and you have to do it again. And then interact with the button to raise it up and continue ahead. So there's a tiny bit of tricky timing with this. So first you just want Mui to press the button to raise the platform, which will free the rope section that's currently caught on the underside.
Yellow.
Once it's freed, you'll want Mui to press the button again to lower it so you can jump on the rope, and then press it a third time to raise it up so you can jump onto the platform, and then
Yellow, Mui.
press it one last time to lower it down so you can jump onto the top of the platform.
Yellow.
Now, what you want to do is, when the drone is on the far right of the screen, you will nip across the top of the platform so that you can press the button and raise the right hand platform to the top, and then run back so you don't get spotted, as you'll see me do here. And then you'll wait one more rotation of his pathing so that he's on the far right again, and then you'll activate the button a second time. Basically, the timing is a bit funny on this, and what you want to do is have the platform be going down so that you can land on it but not take fall damage. Because where it is from default is too low, so I'll press it, drop down, stay outside of his vision, and then recall Mui to continue ahead.
Olay.
Okay, so we want to set Mui up on the switch here. So what we'll be doing is using the gap. So activating that switch will open and or close the little gap in the middle of the screen there. We'll be using that as temporary cover from the drone. So first of all, we'll open it so that when the drone
Yellow.
paths to the right, we can drop down, have Mui activated again, and still be inside cover.
Yellow.
And then we'll open it when the drone goes over, and then head to the far right where we can see the controls for the drone are. Oh, sorry, not the drone, the magnet. The magnet that is directly above the drone, and which we will use to trap the drone. So, activate the magnet. It is right trigger to activate the magnetic aspect. As you'll see here, it sucks in, and then just move it into the lower section here and have Mui activate it so it gets trapped. Now what you want to do is move the magnet to the left hand side, just above the lip here. And this will be where we get our 10th and final shrine, which will unlock 2 achievements, the achievement for the shrine itself, and then the achievement for having all shrines. So just jump up onto the magnet and then head left. And once we've got both of those, what we'll do is we'll go back to the control for the magnet, and we'll move it so that it's on the right side so we can use it to get up onto the ledge on the opposite side of the screen. and then just have Mui drop the rope so you can climb up and continue.
Kialo, Mui. Kialo. Olai.
You'll want to drop down on the ledge here. What you'll do is just lower yourself rather than jumping down. I made the mistake of jumping down, and you will die if you unfortunately miss, so don't risk it. Just continue to the right again, and we'll be coming up to probably the hardest section in the game in isolation, but I'll try and guide you through what you need to do and some tips on how to make it easier, but I'll talk more about that when we get to that in a sec.
Pamaki. Kialo.
Okay, so this is the section I was mentioning. There will be electrified traps on the ground. What you want to do is start by getting Mui to this spot and having them see. Mui will kill themselves on anything and everything in this area. So what you want to do is run through these fans when they're not on. They will not move you as long as you are on the ground. If you try jump, they will blow you back. So wait until they're off before trying to jump over these platforms, or these electrified ground sections, sorry. And then obviously when they're off, take it slow as well. The time between the fans is quite short, so I wouldn't risk sprinting through it. It's much better to take your time. So now, this section can be very difficult as well. What you need to do is get to the switch on the right hand side, which will disable the electrified floors. There is a very short window where you can do that, where the drone will not spot you. So I would go as close as you can to the electrified floor. I'd say just behind it. Then when the drone's out of view, jump up, activate the switch, immediately run to the left. And as you see there, I just made it. The window is very tight. Now what you want to do is just run all the way back to the area with Mui. There was a drone control box that was actually blocked off by a force field. The force field is now disabled. So we want to make our way through these fans here. And then go to the box on the left. Make sure I got into a section of making Mui follow me. Don't. Make sure Mui stays there. Anyway, interact with the drone controls, and then what you want to do is fly directly up. There's actually kind of a secret bit. It's not secret, you do need to go through this section. So once the fan here is deactivated, fly through the drone, go through this lower section, and then you want to break this here. So that section there you want to break. Because what you want to do next is you want to put Mui on the drone and fly through that section. Now that is very difficult because if Mui is hit by any of the fans on the inside, so this one on the outside is fine. Mui can be hit by the wind, that's fine. But if you hit by any of the fans on the inside, Mui instantly dies in the reset. So what I recommend is getting as close as you can to this first fan, getting the timing down, and then as soon as that fan stops, you want to fly straight up and straight to the right. Don't worry about hitting Mui's head on the ceiling, that will not kill Mui. However, a very short period of time of getting hit by the wind will instantly kill Mui. So, do what I do here, get nice and close to the fan, get the timing down for when it stops, then as soon as it stops, flies directly up, don't worry about hitting its head, and just get into that section there. And then once you're here, make sure you don't get hit by this wind either, because as I mentioned, that will also instantly kill Mui. So just take your time, get the timing down, wait until the fan ends, and then immediately head through. And the reason we're doing this is we want Mui to activate a switch that's on the roof here, you'll see there. And what the lap will do is de-electrify the cable. Mui can then chew through it to open the rope, and it will also turn off the fans. So at that point you can stop controlling the drone and continue to the right hand side. Which is, you know, in isolation that section is probably the hardest. So if you don't get it, I would recommend just practicing it, and then coming back through chapter select to try and complete this for the completing the game with no deaths.
Olaj.
We'll have a nice little walking section now. Now, this section is another, unfortunately, quite complex one. Complex just in that there is several moving parts to this, and there's timing. Timing is always the hardest for me personally. So what you want to do is have Mui stand on the tunnel on the left there, and then crawl through to hide in this bush. Now, what you want to do is use Mui's bait to attract the spider drone's attention. So when he's on the far right there, and when he turns round and gets attracted to Mui, you want Mui to press Y, go straight back down the hole, you move along to the next set of grass, and then repeat that until you're on the far side. And it's kind of hard to see because of the dust, but you can actually hide under the wedge on the right hand side. You can crouch underneath it. So we'll just do that again one more time. Then we'll crouch all the way to the right hand side. Now, what we need to do is the opposite. We now need to use ourselves as bait. Well, the camera's a bit funky here, but what we need to do is use ourselves as bait so that Mui can get to us. So we will peek outside of the grass, or the kind of hiding bush section on the right hand side. We will peek out, and when we do, what we want to do is recall Mui to us so that Mui runs into the bush, and when Mui runs into the first bush, we will press B again so that Mui will stay there and wait for us to proceed. So here we go. So we'll hide while the drone's got our attention. We'll get Mui into the first bush, and then we'll wait for the drone to de-aggro. And once the drone has de-aggroed and returned to the center of the screen, we will repeat this process another 1 or 2 times. I think I do it twice more because I was a bit paranoid about getting caught. This was my perfect run, so this was the run where I completed it without any deaths. But yeah, the camera can be a bit wonky here, so basically what you're going to do is make sure you stay in the right vision but don't get caught by the drone. And then when the drone goes all the way to the left, you just want to recall Mui to you. And then continue ahead. This next section's not difficult, just scary. So all you need to do is crouch in the bush underneath the rock on the right here, and then you need to get close enough that you can point Mui up to the top level. Now this will get the drone's attention, but what you need to make sure is you recall Mui immediately after getting its attention so that you can both sprint to the right. And obviously as you sprint to the right, there will be a cutscene triggered, and this is where you and Mui will be separated. So that was the end of the desert level. So now we just need to proceed ahead, and this is the Oasis. So this is a very short chapter. It's essentially just one puzzle. But the majority of this chapter is actually just waiting for one of the NPCs to start the puzzle, essentially. So I will keep stum, everything will happen, and I'll come back to you when the puzzle starts. So this is another dream sequence. You just need to do the same things you've done previously, and I'll come back to you when we're back in the Oasis and ready to do the puzzle. Okay, so as I mentioned, there'll be a puzzle in this section. I will show the answer to it. You can work it out yourself if you want, but I will show exactly what you need to do. As I mentioned, this is the NPC we'll be waiting for, so we'll have a little chat with him here, and then what we'll need to do is wait for him to activate some generators so that we can use certain parts of the area to solve a puzzle. It's just a kind of match puzzle using dots and dashes, similar to Morse code. You need to match the dots and dashes to letters. Now, unfortunately, as I mentioned, the majority of the time we'll just be waiting for him. So I'll come back to you once he finally has walked all the way to the generator in about 5 minutes.
Tilai, Lana. Olai Rakuen.
Okay, so now we have the power. We just need to enter the correct code into these 5 monitors here. If you just press X and make sure that the symbols that are on the screen match what I have, you'll then just need to go over to the right hand side by the generator and interact with it to start the next section. this entire section coming up is a QuickTime event essentially. So if, like me, you're playing with QTs off, then it will just be a long cutscene, but it's fairly easy even with QuickTime events on, so don't worry about it too much. But I'll come back once we're back into regular gameplay.
Oh. Yay.
So at the end of the sequence, you'll fall off your drone robot, and you'll just need to immediately land at the right of the screen to escape from the drone spiders. And that will also be the achievement for completing that section. Okay, so this section is probably the second hardest, or this chapter, sorry, is the second hardest in the game. What you want to do is just hide on the boxes here and do the usual wait till the drone passes and continue ahead. You'll need to climb up on top of the actual covering rather than climbing up to the edge of the second ledge, just to make sure you can actually make the jump. So do as I do here, and then continue ahead. So just run to the right here, and what we want to do is drag the box that we see here into the open, and then we'll continue to the right. There'll be a control panel for us to use the magnet. We'll lift the box over to the left hand side, which will mean we can grapple up onto the platform, and then we'll use the magnet as a secondary platform to bridge the gap. So you'll see me move the box first, place the box down on the left, and then use the magnet as the secondary platform. I just get a bit overzealous with dropping the box, so I have to move it. And then yeah, just place the magnet slightly above the first platform, slightly below the second one, and about halfway between. So this drops you straight into the next drone section. Make sure you're hidden in the grass. and then you can hide in the secondary bit of grass to climb up on the ledge. Just wait until the drone's outside of vision. Okay, so all we need to do with this is wait for the drone to start its path. It will jump up on the top directly above us first, but it can still see us, so don't move. What you want to do is wait until it drops down in front of us again with its back turned, and then immediately go. And then just crawl under this next section. As you can kind of tell with the pacing of this chapter, it's a lot more intense than previous chapters. There is pretty much something constantly with either an enemy or, you know, a puzzle where there's some element of risk. What you want to do is just head over to the right here, climb up onto the ledge, and then jump up onto the left. Maybe with a bit more of a run up. And then you'll just climb onto the little drone, and you'll crouch inside the box as it indicates, and this will transition us onto the actual giant glowy orb in the sky. Also, one of the last achievements we'll be getting is 20th Return achievement. And then we'll arrive on the ship. This chapter is the longest by far, so the element of frustration if you die later is the greatest. So just jump across here, jump onto the next section, make sure not to fall, and then crawl through to continue ahead. So the time between the changing of sides for this drone is quite short, so you'll want to be pretty quick. So once it stops looking, we just want to run to the middle. And then when it turns its back, we want to run immediately to the right and drag the box back to the ledge. So just before the ledge, we'll put the box. You can actually stand on top of the box and not be in vision. I didn't realise at the time, makes it slightly easier. The timing on this is still fairly forgiving, so it's not too bad. But obviously if you just want to play it safe, you can climb up here and he won't see you. And then climb up and deactivate the switch, which will allow you to run to the right hand side and get through. I actually played it safe here. You can make it all the way to the right in one go, but I left it just because I didn't want to lose the run, because it's quite late on. Well, I say it's quite late on. We're probably only about halfway through this mission. And the harder parts are still to come. But yeah, so we'll just go through here. We will trigger a cutscene with Mui, so I will be back with you once we're back in gameplay. Okay, so when we're back in control, we just want to continue to the right hand side here, crouching through the little cubby holes of the section. And we'll have another section with patrolling drones. The timings on these are fairly forgiving, so when the first one turns its back, just jump up to the upper section. And the patrolling drone above also is fairly forgiving, so we just want to climb up here and then get as close to the edge as you can. The vision cone on it's not actually that close, so you can get quite close to the edge. and then when it starts to go to the left hand side, you want to peek out and climb up. When you do though, you want to jump onto the right hand side, but not immediately go up. You want to hide under the second ledge on the right. So you'll see as I do here. Because the drone, it's quick-ish, but you can very easily get caught by it if you're not careful. So you see I almost get caught here. Just hide under that section, wait for it to return to its regular duties, and then carry on to the right. There's no real risk in this bit. It's fairly quick and you can take out the drones very easily. You just have to follow what I do with the controlling the drones and controlling the magnet. This will also be where we get the achievement for rescuing Mui. So we'll start when the scene ends. We'll start by dropping directly below us. There'll be a control panel. That will be the control panel for the magnet. Now once we have control of the magnet, all we want to do is use it to attract the drone and trap them in the box section in the upper left where we saw Mui get dropped in. It might take a bit of time because the drone is in a fixed path and the magnet doesn't have much range to get it. But when you do, just drag it up, drop it in the box, and then you want to take, so once it's in the box, you want to stop controlling the magnet and then run as far to the right as you can, and you'll see a secondary drone control panel. Okay, and then what we'll want to do here is just take control of the drone and knock the box off that's currently on the platform at the top. It's not too difficult. You do have to get a bit of speed and you have to get the right angle. So just make sure you're slightly below, get a decent bit of speed, swing to the left and then knock it off. And once you've done that, you'll just want to drag the box, so take drop control of the drone and then drag the box so that it is able to be picked up by the magnet. Use the magnet to pick it up and drop it into the box loader. This will make Mui be freed and sent out to the side. Now I actually got stuck here for a second. I couldn't stop controlling the magnet. So you'll see that there's the little cutscene plays out, the box is freed, Mui comes out the side, and then I stay in the magnet. It wouldn't let me release it. It is meant to. As soon as the secondary box goes in, you should be able to, but I got out eventually. And then all you need to do now is the same thing you did earlier with the other box and use the drone to knock Mui down. This will give you the Reunited achievement. Now you'll notice a bit of a weird cut there. That was because I actually died at this next section and had to restart for my no death run. So what you want to do is get Mui on top of the drone, and then you're going to go for a little kind of helicopter fly around and you need to activate a bunch of switches without getting electrocuted. So that's the first one. Then you'll go up and to the left. That'll be the second one. And then you'll want to go to the right, again avoiding the electrified panels, all the way to the right, and that will be number 3. And then you'll go directly up, and that'll be 4, and then there'll be a 5th and final one. This is where I died, so you just want to shimmy through this bit here, activate it, and there you go. The section's not too hard yourself, but if you are not familiar with where to go, Can be kind of easy to get caught, as I did. But then once you've got it, just continue to the right hand side. There'll be a grate for you to open. You just need to hold X and rip it off the wall as usual, and then continue ahead. Now, you need to be very careful at this section. You actually just need to drop down and then jump. And then jump all the way across again, like that. Don't try and climb down and then back jump, otherwise you'll drop. Also, that section can be a bit iffy with Mui. Mui can sometimes just throw themselves off the map. I couldn't consistently figure out why, but take your time with that section so that you don't have any issues. And it's now just Walking Right Simulator again for a bit, so I'll be back once we're in gameplay. Now they do actually sneak a jump into this section, so just be aware you can fall off the map if you don't jump on the ledges from here. It's very easily missable, and if you kind of switch your brain off because you've just been holding right the entire time, you will get caught out. Those are the only two jumps though, that's it. So now we have a little escape section. This is very easy, there is no real complexity to it. The best thing to do is just follow Mui. Mui knows the way. So you'll slide down the ramp here, then you'll just want to jump again, slide down a tiny bit further, and go through the little crawl space in front of you, and jump across. You'll then want to drop down, don't jump again, and when you drop down, go to the left, through the little crawl space, and then this is the final slide. Once you slide all the way down, just continue holding right as much as you can, and then you'll be into the final section. So this will be the final boss, or a boss I guess, it's technically the only one that the game really has. It's not difficult, it's scary if this is your deathless run, because it's very easy to get caught out and just instantly die. The premise of what you have to do, though, is very simple. It's the same as always. It's duck, hide, come out, duck, hide. With this, it's interesting that the enemy is essentially a power source. It's the sun inside this thing, essentially. So what we'll need to do is just head to the right-hand side, and you'll see kind of up on a platform will be a yellow button. We'll need to use Mui to activate that. So send Mui up there, and then immediately recall Mui, because as soon as you activate that, it will open the panel in front of you, but it will also start the power source. Now, the power source will shoot out a ray of light. That ray of light is deadly to you and Mui, so hide on the inside here. And there's going to be a second switch on the inside here that you want Mui to sit by, so that you can activate at will. Now, this secondary switch will move the panels above the pillars you can see there. So you'll want Mui to press, you'll press Y when you want them opened. And then what you'll do is you'll run across, land on the pillar, close them above you so you're safe from the deadly lasers. So you'll see here, run across, press Y, raises above head, safe. You'll see I take this incredibly slow. This was my perfect run, so this is where I did it with no deaths. So I was very cautious. I'd had a lot of questionable things happen. But basically you just want to make it all the way across to the left, taking your time to open and close the platforms. And then when you get all the way to the left here, there is another switch. Activating this switch will open a console in the center pillar. So you'll just do the reverse of what you did essentially. You'll close the platform so you can run straight across. You can obviously jump into the pillar and then up again. Either's fine, it's probably safer to do it the other way, but I found you can just sprint across, so time it well, make sure you're as close to the edge as possible, and then as soon as you do, jump across, and that'll be the end cutscene. Now there is a kind of epilogue, I guess. After the fact, this won't be where you get the end achievements. Also, I should say, this is a QTE. You will be doing quick time events for this if you have them activated, so be very ready for that. But you will not get your achievements for completing the game just yet. There is typically a section after this. But just focus on the quick time events for the cutscene if you don't have them on, and I'll be back with you shortly. If you were doing it, that will conclude the quick time events, and this will be a very lengthy cutscene. So if you want to skip ahead, I understand. This will be when the final achievement before the ending of the game will trigger as well. But if you want to skip ahead to the last playing section, that's fine.
muy. Ima. Muy. Muy. Tiay. Meno muy. Olay.
So now we'll find ourselves back in the village from the start of the game, and essentially have to do the same thing we did at the start. We need to go to the left hand side, we need to find Mui, and eventually we need to find our sister on the cliff at the very far left of the map. So just follow what I do, and I'll be back when the game ends.
Yay. Olay. Lucky.
And with that, you should have finished Planet of Lana. I unlock the last 3 achievements here. It might only be 1 for you if you're not going for the Deathless achievements. Obviously, the final achievement is for getting all achievements. I actually only have 2 of them pop. I only get the Flawless and 100% Complete pop. I did, however, get the Complete the Game achievement. It did pop, it just didn't visibly pop in game. But absolutely fabulous game. Highly recommend. Beautiful soundtrack, gorgeous visuals, brilliant gameplay loop. Thanks for listening to the walkthrough. If there's anything else, leave a like, a comment. Thanks very much.